This is like the live room, and when I have a band in here, I just kind of clear all this out. And we all set up in here. This is just a cheap monitoring system. That way everybody can kind of hear themselves. And this is the drums. This is an old Revel kit from Japan that I got from Greg's Drum Shop. Here's kind of a rundown on the mics. I know I've done this before, but it kind of changes from time to time. I got the Sterling Fets on the tom. I got a new warm audio mic on the snare drum, W819. Up here, if you can see, RCA 74 Junior and some vintage EV635. Back there I got another EV pointed over there. SM7. And in the front here, this is the room mic. This is a Lawton audio mic, Horizon. The Dr. Alien Figure 8 mic, which is based on a Bear Dynamic. AKG, classic AKG. Love me some vintage keyboards. And this is a tube Wurlitzer that I got restored. Haven't done the cosmetics yet, but inside of it, it's all restored, tuned to 440. First Casio. And you can hear most of the stuff in my sample pack. The amp that I usually use, dual channel with the Princeton cab. This bass is on loan right now. It's old Framus. And it's my lap steel. I got these gobos built and a cloud, and it makes like a huge difference in here. I've just tried to, add a bass trap and some panels, and there's never not enough treatment. So I'm still kind of going in this room. I want to put another cloud up here. This is a Story and Clark piano that I literally got off Facebook Marketplace. Couple didn't want it, so they delivered it to me, actually. Probably could get it tuned. Definitely need some tuning, but I'm glad to have it. Then, if we walk in here, this is the control room. And I'll start with some keyboards. Got the Prophet 8. And a big thanks to Oberheim, they just fixed this for me. Sounds better than ever. We'll mix analog and digital from time to time. I love this Line 6 multi-effects pedal. It's stereo, so it works great with the Prophet. Down here, the Behringer DeepMind, which is basically it's kind of like a Juno sort of thing. These are all a bunch of stomp boxes, like the octave divider and envelope follower. Talk box. This is the Behringer Poly D, MIDI Moog. This thing is great. 3-note polyphony. Kind of use it for like bass stuff. And all this stuff is pretty much hooked up, ready to use when I don't have a band playing in here. Up here we got the Akai 4000 DAS, kind of like a 2-track stereo tape machine. This is kind of designed to be the other half of the Tascam. Normally back in the day when they would use these multi-track tape machines, you'd get your whole song up on here, and then you would print that to that. But we have computers, so we don't need to do all that stuff. This is the Sansui Spring Reverb Shure mixer. That's great for kind of more aggressive drum sounds. This Tascam A388 was restored last year by Adrian Pro Audio. He's like one of the last tape guys in LA. He did a great job. It sounds so clean, no noise, just very warm tape machine. Got the Behringer RD9, which is like an 808, and that's always going through the line inputs on this Tascam, so I can kind of use it instead of a click track to play to when I'm recording. We got this 500 series rack that I'm always like adding new stuff to. Here I got the Cappy VP25. That's kind of like the snare bottom mic pre. Pultec EQ, which is on the snare, and this kind of relatively cheap mono compressor from Electron. That thing is the bus compressor that's going through this Tascam. Over here we got the Rode 73 with the Avian stereo tremolo in it. This got restored again by Golden State Pianos. They do all the work on Stevie Wonder's pianos. It sounds beautiful. When I got it, it was kind of a dog. It was completely out of tune and needed a bunch of help, but he reset the action, tuned it all, and it just sounds beautiful now. Over here we got the Korg Chrome, and this is kind of like a Triton. You could make like a whole beat on this if you wanted to. It's kind of a very versatile keyboard. I tend to use it for just about everything. There's like clavinet sounds in it, and even like Rode stuff. There's like a Wurlitzer 200A sounds in this, and drums and kind of whatever you need. Going over here to the desk. I work in Machine for the most part. I do work in Ableton for tracking bands and stuff. But I'm working in Machine when I'm by myself. To look in the rack here, this is like the guitar chain. This is an Electron 1073 that's going through the Zulu tape emulator. And then I got this other API for bass when I'm tracking live bands. And when I'm mixing, what I'll do is I'll use these two APIs and I'll put that on the bus and I'll print tracks through that. Haven't done it in a while, but if I'm looking for kind of an extra tightness in the track and tighten up the bass response, I'll print a track through those. Those are great. Over here I got my Arrow, which I use for traveling all the time, running off a new Mac M1. I got the Atom Audio 7Vs over here. I've had them for a while. I'm pretty used to them at this point. I could probably use a sub, but what I do is I'll just check on headphones or bounce the track to my phone and kind of check the low end that way. Over here is kind of like Guitar Land. We got the Les Paul with the throwbacks in it. This is kind of a relatively cheap Samick bass. This is actually the first bass that I ever used in my tracks. My first 50, 60 tracks I used that bass. Eventually I upgraded to a Fender jazz bass, 5-string. As a guitar player, first and foremost, a 5-string kind of really speaks to me. Over here I got an Epiphone acoustic that is kind of sentimental to me. It was my partner's dad's guitar, and he passed away and gave it to me, and I try to use it on records any chance I get. Here is a parts caster that a friend of mine put together, and people have asked me about this before. It is not vintage. I wish it was vintage, but it's a Fender road-worn body and a Warmoth neck, Lindy Fralin pickups in it. It's a great guitar. It's kind of my go-to, my daily driver, as you would say. Various percussion stuff here, because I really don't like using loops. I'm more of a let's just record it kind of producer, and if I can do that, it kind of makes me happy. So I'll just throw on a mic, and got some other percussion stuff over here, bells for drums, and these, maracas. Kind kind of just whatever it takes to get the track done. Down here we got some other snare drums and cymbals, like trash cymbals and clap stack and a crash. A vintage Ludwig with a big fat snare drum thing on it. That's really a different tone. Really just give me different tones. The drum kit in the live room, that's a Tama snare, and that's kind of like the more modern snare. This is kind of a vintage vibe, and then the piccolo under here is kind of more of like that tight, hip-hop thing. But yeah, that's just a little rundown of the studio, how it is right now. And I'll track a band in there and monitor from in here. And, I'll just close this door. And, the bleed isn't too bad. It's pretty tolerable for the most part. And it sounds pretty good, actually. So yeah, that's a little tour of my studio. Hope you like it. That's what I use every day. Kind of always add new little things as time goes on. But I'm really happy with this configuration right now. I'm really blessed to have a lot of this gear. You've heard all this stuff before if you've heard my music. So, hope you like it. Peace.